She doesn't delete any emails.
I have put them in the necessary folders.
So because I use tile, you can't use nippers or anything like that, you know, so. Glass wasn't thick enough, so there's a piece of cardboard underneath it to bring it up tall. So that's how I change, how I go between glass and tile. So.
It started as a seascape and it ended up underwater, so that's sort of how I roll. This is just Wheatie board, and I cut it, and then I use a mixture of a glass mixed with water, and then I added beads it was from a necklace that I incorporated into the other part of the piece. So.
Remember when we did these palpayas? Remember, a long time ago? And so I finally got them out. I thought, oh, this would be great to do for the bird show. And so, what should I do to it? It looks horrible. I put them so close together that I really can't get any beads in.
Maybe you could do another layer of glass and put in some beads. Yeah.
I used the thin set, and this is slate that I've turned on edge. Lots of beads. These are micro beads. I just fill the area with the liquid glass and then just put my stuff into it. Because it's clear, it just, you know. Most of these are chains of different kinds. And I love putting them on the wood panels.
So this is for the bird show. It's called Indigenous Feather. And then I also made a little pair of earrings and made a little holder for them to hang on there too. I hope a feather works for a bird show.
I think so.
Obligated to make something for the bird show, and you know that's kind of not my style, but we have blackbirds. I rolled out thin epoxy sculpt and cut out the little bird shapes.
Wow.
And then stuck them on the wood, and then there's stained glass and little nano ceramic tiles. I've set a goal for myself, which it's only March, I may not make it, to quit doing things that are titled existential threat. The end of the world as we know it.
Thank you.
And try to be a little more uplifting. However, this one is called Rise Above. And so,
So I'm going to be showing you guys a technique of drawing where you use a grid. Marley has probably done it hundreds of times. Kathy's probably done it. And people have used it. It's one way to draw. Another way to draw is to just to look at something and start drawing. But drawing is a different way of looking at things. You're breaking stuff down into pieces and parts. A lot of times when if somebody said draw the room, people are overwhelmed. It's too much information. It's too much stuff. So we're going to be breaking it down into little pieces and manageable parts. So this is from a picture that I took at the Vatican. And this is made with unglazed ceramic tile. It's Doll Tile is kind of the one of the companies that makes it. This is the picture I was working from that I took when I was in at the Vatican. And then because I know Photoshop, some people don't know Photoshop, and that's fine, but I go in Photoshop and I throw a grid on top, print it out, and then you can see the Wheatie board, and you can see the white, I think I was using a wax pencil on the Wheatie board where I drew the grid bigger to work from.
Oh, I see.
On it. And then I went over the black lines, or the lines with black marker to figure out where I was going, but I still, the white wax pencil is still there from the grid. So grids are nice because you can enlarge stuff. So somebody's like, I need you to do like a wall. And you're like, oh God. So you can either project it on there, or you can do a grid method using that string with the chalk in it. You can snap it, or you can draw it on, or whatever. You can enlarge things, you can reduce things, you can even distort things, and I'm not even going to go into a distortion grid today because that's too much.
That's another class.
That's more of a drawing class. But it's just one way to help you, especially if you're like, I'm not good at drawing kind of thing. It's just a way to help you out. So I'm gonna look at one box at a time. Now, one thing that you might do is you might go like, all right, this is box one, row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just so you can say, all right, I'm gonna focus on this box first. So sometimes numbering them, some people like that, some people don't. Do what works for you. Or you could like give them letters or whatever, just so you can be like, all right, this is the box I'm focused on, this is the box I'm focused on. So in this first box right here, I'm looking at, so there's one line in it and it's below halfway and it's coming across and it ends before halfway there. This next box over, so if I'm looking at it, so there's really one line on it, but it's below halfway in the box. So it's going to, and it's got a little bit of curve on the ends of it. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to come down. So breaking this down into one box at a time takes some of the pressure off. The next box over, I've got 3 lines in it. So one of them is going to come down before halfway, and then the next one is on the other side of halfway and it goes a little bit higher, and then this one's pretty low, cut in the corner. So the 4th box, I'm going to come up high and then come down a little bit. In the bottom box, I'm going to come up, and they're getting closer together as I'm coming across. And the 5th box has kind of a triangle and it points down. And I can't really do a light sketchy line very well with my my Lisa V marker. The next row. So this box is a little more complicated. So it's going to come down and then it's going to come up and kind of touch the grid up here. And then there's another piece that's pretty close to it, but it's going to come down and then come back up. The next box over, that one that was touching the grid is going to come down. And I need to tell you guys, drawing on a vertical thing is a lot harder than drawing flat. So I have to keep stepping back because you're like, what does it look like? All right, this one's going to come up and it's going to start to get closer to the line above it. And let's see, this one doesn't look fat enough. All right, this one's going to come over and it's going to change direction and go curve down. This middle box gets a lot more complicated because this middle box I got 3 coconuts plus 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of a leaf. So I'm going to first start off with the leaves, I think, just so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. So this kind of makes a V. And then this kind of cuts across and comes up a little bit. And these are not perfect circles, these coconuts. So a lot of times people go, it's not a perfect circle. It's okay. Most things when you go to draw are not perfect squares, circles, triangles. And if you do try to make them look perfect, then it's gonna look odd. All right, so I've got one coconut that's gonna start about here, come over and touch the grid. And then, all right, these guys come in over here and touch the coconut. And then this guy comes down, and then this coconut's coming around. He touches the other coconut. I just like saying the word coconut. And then this one is kind of smashed, but now that I'm looking at it, this bottom one is gonna be way bigger on mine. So this is why you draw lightly. I can't draw lightly because I gotta be smooth. So this one actually needs to be a little bigger. This one needs to be a little bit bigger. And then I've got this smushed one that comes down and touches the grid. And there's kind of some black in between them. All right, and then there's one coming off of here, and it's getting fatter as it goes across, and crosses right in front of the grid there. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this guy off down here. And then the fifth row, this one's gonna kind of drop a little bit vertically and then change direction and kind of kick out to the side here. This one's going to come down and go past the grid a little bit, come back in. Ta-da! So if you're feeling like you got it and you want to try, you've got a grid. You might have brought a picture you're welcome to use. This is a 1-to-1 grid. The proportions are the same. It's not an enlargement. If you start to draw your picture and you're like, I don't like it, you're welcome to take another picture. We've got some time. We've got 45 minutes. So do as much as you want.